Hello and welcome to GM Talks. This is the first episode of a long series of chess videos made by me. I'm Grandmaster Sune Berg Hansen from Denmark, and I will teach you some chess, hopefully entertain you and entertain myself, and it will be a lot of fun. I've been Grandmaster for 23 years, so I have a lot to show you. Uh, I get a lot of questions about chess. As also I write a daily chess column, so every week somebody writes me and asks me something. And recently, with the success of the show The Queen's Gambit on Netflix, uh, I get the same question a little bit more than usual. And the question is, how far ahead can you calculate? How many moves? And it's it's also one of the questions you don't like to get, just like how you become a grandmaster, because it's sort of complicated. So you always end up saying it depends, and you can almost see like the disappointment in their eyes, and oh, he doesn't know. It's like okay, but it is true. It does depend. It depends on the position. Um, and it's a bit like when you ask the economy professor, are the stocks going to go up because I want to be a millionaire? So should I buy this Apple stock now? And he says it depends on the inflation rate, the interest rate, the unemployment rate, the activity in the economy. And you say, oh, you don't have a straight good answer. And the truth is, no, he doesn't. If he had the answer, he, he could become a trillionaire in no time. And also, if you could always calculate 20 moves ahead, you'll be world champion. So sometimes you can calculate far, sometimes not so far. The position on the board is one where you cannot calculate very far. It's um, it's sort of a study or a puzzle or a problem, whatever you like to call it. It's not a normal position. It was composed by someone, and by the way, there's not going to be a lot of these kind of puzzles in the GM talks, but today is an exception. So white to move and made in two moves. So to solve this, you just have to look two moves ahead. And sometimes that could be hard. Actually, very hard. I had this puzzle in my newspaper column as a Christmas puzzle, and well, only half of the solvers could actually solve it. So it's not so easy two moves ahead. I'm going to show you in a little while another example, because examples are the way best teachers of how difficult it can be to look even one move ahead. But okay, why to move? Have you found the solution? Okay, there's a lot of things going on here. We see that the rook here is is pinning this rook, so it cannot move forward. There's a X-ray from the queen on the king via the rook here, and there's also an X-ray from the bishop on the king. Um, there's also some knights and some bishop and some sort of yeah, it's a little bit fuzzy what's going on there. The bishop here is covering c8, so it's c7, so it's not a mate. And this rook is covering, is ready to take this bishop, so rook b6 is not mate. So we found the solution. Okay, here it comes. Bishop b2. And the main idea is, well, rook g4, checkmate. And whatever black does, white finds a way to checkmate. The simple solution is probably something like this one with a double check and mate. But it could also be maybe some like this, take, or some like this, and then it's the knight becomes the hero of the day. Um, anyway, you can check it out. It's nice puzzle, and we'll go on to the next one. No, we don't want to save the solution. And here's white to move again, and we instantly see that this is also not a real position. Just look at the 4 queens on the board and 4 white squared black bishops. That's not normal. That would take a hell of a lot of pawns to promote into white squared bishops for that to actually happen. So this is not a normal position. It's also a construction. And the trick is here is to see just one move ahead. One move. That's all you have to find, folks. One move, mate. And then you start to try and solve this, and it's not so easy because there seems to be something wrong with everything. All the knight checks are taken by bishops. You want to play d8 queen, but then you realize that the bishop on c8 is actually giving check to the king on h3. Taking on c8 doesn't help. If you take and get a queen or rook, then comes the bishop on h1 to b7. Or if you take with a knight, the king has a place on e8. Also, queen d6 doesn't help. King goes to d8, and so on and so on. Bishop h4, rook d5, queen d5, queen c1 takes d5, and so on. So it's not easy, and it takes a lot of time to actually calculate one move ahead. Most of us, like me, just have to say, okay, is this checkmate? That's a check that. No, it's not checkmate. Okay, is this checkmate? No, that's not checkmate. And then at the end, you find that queen a3 is the solution with a checkmate. That was not easy. Not easy at all. And that was just looking one move ahead. But in the next position, it becomes maybe a little more simple. And that's also why it depends on the position, because in this position, just looking one move ahead was really difficult. But in the next position, most grandmasters can probably calculate all the way to the end. That is something like 20 moves ahead or something. That will give a computer a horizon problem, something we'll get back to in GM talks. Anyway, white to move and wins. And the key here is to get the opposition, that is the kings standing opposite each other, and one of them has to move, and it's a sort of a Mexican standoff, and he loses his head in the duel. White has to go around, so he will get this called diagonal opposition. So he starts with king c2. King has to move in. If it gets to c5, it's a draw, so you have to prevent that. And here is the crucial moment. What to do? King a4 is bad. King c5, and it's an instant draw. Queen c4, queen c6. Here is also a draw, because black has gotten the opposition, and white can't move any further. This is something that's called basic endgame knowledge. It's not something we're going to cover very much in GM talks, but we'll refer to it when it's necessary. So instead, white has to go king b4. Again, letting black move. King d5, king b5 is the problem, so he goes here. And again, now they're opposite. White has the opposition. Black has to blink, and white will go forward with his king no matter what. So let's say he go here, go there, then he goes here. And again, you have to be careful, because if you move the pawn, then king b7. So you go again here, and here, and here, and the pawn is moving forward. And again, you have to be careful. If you go c6, king b8, black has the opposition again, so you have to go here, and after something like this, and the pawn will queen, and you can probably even calculate how fast you can mate the king with queen and king. So this was an example of where you easily could, if you're a grandmaster or a strong player, or you know this ending, easily look 10 moves ahead. So just to show, it all depends, and I hope you will subscribe to this channel. I will keep the videos coming, and if you have any suggestions, please give me a mention in the notes. Bye bye for now.